everybody, I'm Jayne Rozario of Rozario Jewellery Design. I'm really pleased to be here on your Motivational Monday, and thank you for being here and listening to me. Let's get started. I was born in Birkenhead and I live in Whitchurch, Shropshire. I've been here for 35 years now with my husband and 3 grown-up children now they are. And in the daytime we've got a family flooring business company which I'm trying to be made redundant by my son so I can do my jewellery full time. But I do manage to just do a couple of days with that now really, and I do spend the rest of my time on my jewels, which I love. And I'm here to tell you how Jewellery found me. So my journey started 10 years ago, and my daughter asked me to go to her high school to her jewellery making class, which was of an evening, just 2 hours a week. So I went along with Ellie, and in that first evening I made 2 pairs of earrings, and I couldn't believe that plain Jane made these beautiful earrings, which I loved, excuse me. So I went home all excited and found things in the house that I didn't even know were there before, which included buttons, beads, things that my mum had probably given me as a kid that I just had in a tin and not bothered with because didn't know what to do with it, bits of ribbon, and then old bits of my own jewellery which had either broken or I wasn't wearing anymore. And I started asking friends and neighbours if they had any old jewellery also which I could have. And in that week, before I went back, I'd made a dozen pairs of earrings. All I needed was a pair of pliers and a pair of cutters which I'd borrowed from school that week. But if you felt inspired to do so, they only cost probably about £5 off something like eBay. So basically you can get started off pretty quickly, pretty cheaply. If anyone has any questions, please pop them down and I will get back to you all later with anything you want to know and any contacts I have or anything like that to get you started. So I went back the second week and we were making bracelets, and again this whole new world just opened up to me which I didn't even know existed. I literally came alive. So my daughter lasted 2 weeks because she didn't like the teacher, but I could see that this teacher had fantastic skills and I wanted to learn everything I could, everything. And what was important to me and which I wanted to pass on to you was I went to this night class at 48. I was an average person. I wasn't bad at anything, but I wasn't good at anything either. I sat at the side of conversations really and listened mostly because I didn't have much confidence to join in a conversation because I didn't think I knew enough about anything. But when I started making jewellery and it felt so natural, and I can say it now and be proud, I was good. I know from my experience and how I was before that every single person in the whole world has the potential to be fantastic at something, and it is just finding what that something is for you. And I would say try everything you can, even things that aren't on your radar. If you get an opportunity or an invite, and with the internet these days, just try things, and that one thing will just transport you to this special place where there is no time and you're your own boss with your own voice and you're full of confidence and you're just creating and you're in your own little world, in your own little bubble, and it is just the best place. ever. So I had to share that with you. So I evolved. I went to this night school class for as long as it went on, because school stopped it in the end, which was probably about 3 years. And in that time I started doing craft fairs and farmers markets, because I couldn't afford to just have a hobby that didn't pay for itself. And I got addicted, and the kids basically had to cook their own meals at night because they were starving, and just do everything around the house themselves, because I was obsessed with making jewellery. Did the fairs and markets and different bits and bobs for quite a few years, but I found it hard on my body, to be honest. It was tiring, exhausting. I don't like actually selling to people, so I didn't enjoy the environment of the fair. Bit of an ordeal. So I then started to think about making the business my own business and suiting my personality, and I stopped doing what other people said I should do. So I like being at home, and I like being with my family, and I'm more confident in my own environment. So I knew my dream pretty much from the beginning was to have my own studio at home, which I didn't have. So in the meantime, I was making all kinds of beaded jewellery. I quite quickly got into polymer clay, which I'm wearing for you today. This is some new things I made at the weekend. And polymer clay is fantastic because you can make anything in any colour, whatever you desire. There's no limit, and I love colour. And then I evolved into bridal jewellery and doing bridal fairs, and I love that because you really got to know the brides at the time, and at that special happy time it was nice to be involved with people. And then my mum died and everything stopped, pretty much. It did. But then I got the feeling I wanted to make her really proud of me, and I actually went and took myself to university at Birmingham in the Jewellery Quarter, and the next natural step was to get involved with precious metals and precious stones. And I loved uni. It was just recreational, 1 day a week, not as expensive as you think it's going to be, if anyone else out there might have it on the mind or be interested. And I had a fantastic teacher who taught traditional skills, and I love anything old-fashioned, if you like, and I like making things the proper way. So no computers involved, just your hands and your tools. And I'm still with Cassie now. She started her own school just over the road from uni, still in the Jewellery Quarter in Birmingham. And I will probably go there forever because there's always something to learn. But now I melt down people's own gold. So it might be some sentimental jewellery that's too precious to sell or get rid of, but not to your taste to wear. So I will melt it down and make it into a wearable piece of jewellery. And one I loved, thank you Ray, one I loved doing, well I love doing them all to be honest, but a specific one was two sisters had lost their father, and they came to me with his rings, and I was cutting them up to melt them down. I was making the two sisters 3 stack of rings, because that's nice and fashionable at the moment and wearable, but it also meant that they could hand those rings down eventually to their daughters. So cutting it up, melting it down, and just before I did, I just realised he had a large signet ring, and I could actually cut out 2 hearts from the signet ring and put them onto one of their stack of rings each. And I did that, and I get a bit emotional even thinking about it now, because it meant that these hearts came directly from their father's ring, which made it even more sentimental and special and precious. And I often think when I'm making these things that this person is with me and guiding me to what to make. Because often when someone comes to me with something, I have to say to them at times, you know, this piece will just evolve. I don't exactly know what I'm going to make. What I tell you now might change along the way. But I have lots of consultations with people and lots of chats. So it's never a problem. And I just feel guided. And in the early days, for years, I always used to think someone was actually sat on my shoulder. Thank you. It's special for me too. Someone's sat on my shoulder making these things for me, because I couldn't believe myself that I'd made these beautiful items, because I didn't know I could. But you can, because I could, and I am nothing special. I'm just a normal person, the same as you. But we all have the ability to make something special. I've got a couple of pieces here. I'm just going to check the time because it's not on my iPad. Oh, we're all right, we've got loads of time. This is my first tiara that I made. And it was for me, actually. I was going to a friend's wedding. And in here, these are two antique buttons, because I like buttons. A bird, because I like birds. An old brooch, a few crystals, a few beads, things around your house really if you wanted to have a go yourself. And in here is a little parrot feather, because we have parrots. So it just shows you how you can make such personal pieces for people. This one was so easy, and if I show you, turn it that way for you, you can see the turquoise is just a broken necklace, and then I've just hitched it up and wired it up with some crystals, so it looks a lot more intricate than what it really is. Now back to this piece, although I made it for me, reminds me. Often you'll be asked what inspires you, and of course all the usual nature, the sea, beautiful sunsets, the sky, all those things really mean colour to me. But what really, really inspires me is you, the person, the client. So if you wanted something from me and I see a photo of you, which sounds a bit weird to ask initially when you're asking a stranger, but if I see a photograph, I can often tell from that photograph what you will like and your taste, and definitely what will suit you. But if I get to meet you and have a consultation and ask a few questions, then I really get to know the person, and it's you, the person, and your personality, I feel, makes that piece of jewellery as much as I'm making that piece of jewellery. It's a partnership, and we're kind of doing a dance together, if you like, to produce something that's really special and sentimental for you. And that's what I like making. I don't just like making something to go in a cabinet in a shop where you don't know me and I don't know you. I would rather make you something that I know you're going to treasure, and it'll bring you joy looking at it and bring you comfort to wear, hopefully. And at times, if there's something, a secret in there, it's something that will empower you too. And in this lockdown, I've decided to have some fun time, and I've let my head go free and just been trying to make random things, not thinking about having to sell it and how much I'm going to sell it for. I'll see what you think. I've been making these, it's like a bit of a sculptural piece, but this started off as a piece of putty, and I shaped it literally with my fingers and my hands until it felt comfortable in my hand. So it's tailored for me, and it's going to be a pendant, and it's like a fidget fun pendant, but it's for times like now when you're a bit nervous or feeling anxious, and you can just rub it and play with it. And I'm hoping that I can be able to make some of these heavy for other people. This is another one. So this is called Millie Put. This is like a 2-part putty, so you have an hour to play with this. And this is actually from the same model as that silver one, but I've refined it a bit more. I've filed into it, and I love that process and all the contours and filing all the grooves, and it just feels so tactile and beautiful. So I'm hoping that's something for the future. I'm very much inspired by architecture and geometry, so I do like precision and lines, but I also like curves and comfort and tactile. Let me just check the time again. I think we're coming up to it now, aren't we? So I'm going to show you my dream I realised last October. So that studio that I knew I wanted to build almost a full 10 years ago, so that I could work from home, I could be with my family, I could work around my family, I don't have to go out, don't have to do those craft fairs. People come to me, and I know that if they are here and they come to me, they want to be here. I've not made them do something they don't want to do, so that makes me feel more confident. It's a beautiful space. I'm going to try and show you now, because I do workshops myself from home now. So I'll pop some notes down later, because I'm about an hour away from you, I think. So if you ever fancy coming to do a workshop with me, I'd love to meet you. So I'll start you off. This is my gallery area here in the studio. Not sure what you can see. It's a bit of a mess because before lockdown I was doing some alterations at the back there, and this is all ceiling by the looks of it. Silversmithing area over there, and then you can see I'm in a field. I'm not sure I can show you down to the lake, but if you were here you'd be welcome to go and walk around the lake in your lunchtime. I don't think that was a very good tour, but it'll give you a bit of an idea. Yeah, you can go and enjoy the outdoors when you're here, and come and make some lovely jewellery and have some relaxing time with me. And when you do a workshop with me, the most important thing is that you finish it, and you go home feeling proud wearing it. And even if it takes longer than the expected time, you can stay until it's finished. My workshops often are longer than other people's because I want you to relax and have fun. It's not just about learning something, it's just having a real nice bit of me time. If any of you would like to go on my email list, just send me a message and it'll just keep us in touch, and I can let you know of anything new going on, because I'm always doing different things. And the main thing I would say to you, if you want to have a go yourself, just do your own thing, make your own style. Don't worry about having to sell it and having to conform and having to make this because someone else thinks you should. Make it your style, make it you, because the world's massive. There's somebody out there, as long as it's well made, that's the only should. It's got to be well made. Well made, whatever the style is, there's people out there who will love it. And you don't want to make something for everybody to love anyway. That's boring. And don't copy, have a look, be inspired, but definitely make your own thing. And if I can just leave you with 2 quotes that I love to share with you. It is, believe in yourself first and others will follow. And the other one is, the word is not impossible, it's I'm possible. And I'm proof because I wasn't any good at anything before and I am now. And thank you all so much. I can see there's been quite a few of you here and it's a privilege and it's the first time I've done one. So thank you for bearing with me to the end. Bye.